Imagine a world where the United States had stayed completely out of World War I. No American soldiers on European soil. No global superpower rising after the war. No shift in world politics. Because for almost 3 long years, that was the plan. America wanted nothing to do with the Great War tearing Europe apart. So what changed? The secret behind America finally entering World War I is far more dramatic, more unexpected, and more global than most people realize. This is the story of how one nation that swore to stay neutral suddenly became the deciding factor in one of the deadliest conflicts in human history. And it all began long before the first American soldiers stepped into the trenches. First, let's set the stage. When World War I exploded in 1914, Europe was a volcano. Old empires were collapsing. New technologies were turning battles into mass slaughter. But America was far away, separated by the Atlantic Ocean. Most Americans believed the war had nothing to do with them. President Woodrow Wilson declared strict neutrality, telling the nation to stay calm and stay out. But neutrality is never simple. While America stayed out of the war, its factories and farms did not. American businesses were selling weapons, food, and supplies to Britain and France. The U.S. economy was booming because of the war, even though the country was not fighting in it. Germany saw this as unfair. If America was neutral, why was it supporting Germany's enemies economically? That question would soon lead to a deadly conflict at sea. The ocean became the first battlefield that pulled America closer to war. Germany launched a new form of naval warfare using submarines called U-boats. Their mission was simple: cut off supplies going to Britain, sink any ship that might be helping the Allies. At first, Germany promised not to attack passenger ships. But war has a way of breaking promises. In May 1915, a British passenger ship named the Lusitania was sailing from New York to Liverpool. Nearly 2,000 civilians were on board, including more than 100 Americans. A single German torpedo struck the ship. In just 18 minutes, the Lusitania sank into the cold Atlantic. The world was shocked. Newspapers screamed for justice. Many Americans were furious, but still, President Wilson refused to enter the war. He demanded Germany stop unrestricted submarine attacks, and for a while, Germany backed down. But this was only the beginning. Underneath the surface, another pressure was building. American banks began lending huge amounts of money to Britain and France, billions of dollars. If the Allies lost the war, they would not be able to repay those loans. Suddenly, America's financial future was tied to the war's outcome. Neutrality was becoming impossible. Then came the moment that changed everything. A secret message sent across the world that turned American neutrality into outrage. In January 1917, British intelligence intercepted a telegram from Germany's foreign minister, Arthur Zimmermann. It was sent to Mexico. The message offered Mexico a shocking deal. If Mexico joined Germany and attacked the United States, Germany would help Mexico take back Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. The plan was to keep America busy fighting on its own border so it could not join the war in Europe. When the British shared the telegram with the U.S. government, there was disbelief. Could Germany really be planning to break America apart? But the answer was yes. And when the message was released to the public, Americans were furious. The Zimmermann telegram exploded across newspapers, creating a wave of anger that no politician could ignore. And as if that was not enough, Germany made a fateful decision. In early 1917, they restarted unrestricted submarine warfare. German U-boats began sinking American ships again, this time without warning. Dozens of ships were destroyed. American sailors died. It was now impossible to pretend the war was far away. Pressure was building from everywhere. Civilians outraged over the Lusitania, financial ties to the Allies, German submarine attacks, and the shocking Zimmermann plot. Wilson finally told Congress that America could not stand by while its citizens were killed and its future threatened. On April 6, 1917, Congress declared war on Germany. The United States had officially entered World War I, but entering the war was only the beginning. America needed to transform itself overnight. Millions of young men were drafted. Factories switched from making cars and tools to producing tanks, planes, and ammunition. A brand new American army called the American Expeditionary Forces was sent to Europe under General John J. Pershing. They arrived just in time because the Allies were exhausted and Germany was preparing one last massive offensive. When fresh American troops arrived, everything changed. Their energy, numbers, and industrial support helped the Allies stop the German advance. The final year of the war turned in favor of the Allies, largely because America stepped in at the critical moment. But here's the part most people do not realize. America did not enter World War I because of just one event. It was a chain reaction. A passenger ship sinking, a secret telegram, submarine attacks, economic pressure, and a growing realization that staying out of the war was no longer safe. By entering the war, America changed the entire direction of the conflict. It ended the stalemate. It pushed the Allies to victory. And it marked the moment the United States began its rise as a global superpower. Without America's entry, the war could have dragged on for years, or ended in a very different outcome. In the end, the secret behind America entering World War I was not a single decision. It was a combination of fear, strategy, opportunity, and the desire to protect the nation's future. A moment when neutrality was no longer an option. Changed its